like this. We discussed this one many times.
Yeah, many times. So I don't want to discuss it today, but basically,
we're going to talking about each line by line. Maybe they understand, but okay. But so what?
So what? Well, actually, this is part of the reason why it's so difficult, why it's so hard for Japanese people to get on the same page with European people, and vice versa. Basically, because the whole mindset, the whole viewpoint and perspective is very different, which makes it difficult to understand each other. It's even difficult for people from the same cultural background, from the same country, to understand each other. At least in Europe, we don't read air at all, and we do not automatically understand each other. We have a culture of making everything explicit. Everything has to be put on the table and get a name and be explained and made very explicit. Otherwise, it's not acceptable. Now, this is very difficult if you are a Japanese person, because
any Japanese company top executive will going to ask you, okay, I understand. Do you believe we can solve all these gaps among Europe and Japan? This is a simple question.
Well, yes, I think that it is, but the only way to accept it is to first become aware of it.
Yeah, awareness, okay.
Yes.
But it takes so many years.
It takes so many years. I don't know if it takes that many years.
Oh, the other question. None of the company attained the kind of filling those gaps in the past. This is the for me it's kind of some weird feeling weird. Because in the past 50 years, none of the company filling those gaps. None of Japanese company.
So how can we do it? Well, actually, I had a very interesting.
Even if one line. Yeah, I tell you.
It's a lot, right? It is a lot. But if we look at, okay, so I had a
okay. Well, I have a question for you. This is individualism, eccentricity,
right,
versus conformism.
Conformism. Yes.
Conformism, right?
Yeah. Any
company solve this gap? No. Japanese is considered for more focus on individualism? Never.
No. Exactly,
but how
you know how wonderful it works. It actually, if you're going to mix, if you're going to create a corporate culture where you have conformism and you have individualism, because there are merits in both systems, and if you can succeed in creating a multicultural work environment, then actually the benefits of conformism versus the benefits of individualism, if you organize yourself well, they can actually grow your company and reinforce each other.
For example, like Sonoda's company, like one example, many nationalities mixing up, and they try to develop some product, and they discuss, debate every day. Why they need to consider for those gaps issue? And top executive believe, okay, we're going to mixing races, nationalities, and leave it the other is, and that 1 year past they're going to solve this issue. Is it? What's the problem? Their question.
What's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem? Why are you going to talk about this? Okay, we're going to organize projects like consortium or mixing races and nationality and so forth. But in the past, okay, we just organized many countries, people get together. Problem will going to be solved automatically. Why are we going to talk about this?
Well, the problem is that we do not get together. The problem is that we are not engaging with other countries because it's mendokusai. Even though there are economic motives to do so, the way the transaction costs of doing business overseas are very high for a lot of Japanese companies and for a lot of foreign companies.
Well, the question is, okay, are you going to show me? What is a transaction cost? What is a communication cost?
Well, these are all transaction costs. These are transaction costs. I mean, this makes it much harder to gain trust, to
Oh, this is the what?
Get
My top executive question is, okay, you said this is getting harder to improve these gaps that you're talking about. But my concern is how much money we just lose because of those issues.
well, I think the money you lose is actually the money of opportunities not being taken.
Problem is not. It's always not. This is vague and not clear, right?
Well, actually, so last
Very difficult to persuade.
But actually, Uno-san, so last Wednesday, I was a judge in a speech contest, and there was one candidate, one contestant, who was talking about his studies, and he worked for a company. I don't know exactly which company it was, but he wrote a thesis based on a Japanese theory, which is called tatami and what's that door, the door with the paper, the folding door that you put, the screen that you put in your Japanese room. What's
Yobu?
yobu? So tatami and yobu. It's a kind of a management theory aimed at engaging with the conservative environment and a progressive environment. Basically, the tatami stands for the conservative environment, and the yobu stands for the progressive environment. And basically, the point was that in this theory, it is said that basically, if you put some people from the tatami environment into this yobu environment and create a safe environment, the yobus behind the screen, create a safe environment, be creative, and then make sure that you disperse this to all the conservative tatami environment, then you can actually thrive. So I need to look up exactly what this theory is about, but there are people thinking about to actually deal with the traditional Japanese culture, because there's value in that. It's not that we should all become European companies, because it was not for nothing that Japanese business was so successful. But we can also not close our eyes for the transaction costs, for the difficulties that a lot of Japanese companies have to gain trust to do business with overseas businesses. So these kinds of management theories are now starting to appear in order to make this work, in order to get a more international outlook on business. So tatami and yobu.
What do you want to say?
So basically, so what can we do? You ask, what can we do? So how can we overcome these differences? Well, maybe the answer lies in management theories, Japanese management theories like tatami and yobu. So people are thinking about that to actually implement that. So instead of, I don't think that is Rakuten would be an example for that. But other companies might be more successful in implementing.
Okay. Successful, you said?
Well, some companies are doing something very right. Companies like Toyota, car manufacturers come to mind. Other examples of very successful Japanese companies.
You mean in the global market?
Yeah. I mean, Uniqlo is an example, and I think it's a good example because they're very successful.